Welcome to Laurel Smith of Chicago, Illinois, nonprofit home video and artworks creations. In this particular video, we will be looking at the new African pyramids image on Mars as taken by NASA. When we look at this image of the Rover image of this intact African pyramid, it's just like you're looking at the second pyramid in Khufu. Now remember, the biblical Isaiah 19:19 Giza pyramids in North Africa is connected to the globe Earth octagonal equatorial perimeter of the Dome of the Rock roof area in Jerusalem. When we look at the North Pole concentrically viewed map image of planet Earth, we see spokes in a bicycle wheel arising out of the octagonal equatorial roof of the Dome of the Rock octagonal building structure of King David and Solomon. When we look at Alien 33, the biological extraterrestrial life form that landed upon Mount Sinai in the Old Testament, and Ezekiel's biblical wheel within the wheel like UFO, it had a crystal dome. This dome was located underneath the UFO. Unlike modern UFOs, they had the domes located on top of the UFO. Okay, so when we look at this Alien 33 data, connection to the Dome of the Rock outer wall, stone rectangular window frame, 784 ancient Babylonian stealth pyramid image of the book of Psalms, 105th chapter, 23rd verse. Islamic Aramaic Dead Sea Scroll speaking 12 sons of Jacob. This is where we see Genesis 49 chapter and 8 verse, 4th son of Jacob, as the biblical black African Chaldean Ethiopian lion Sphinx of ancient Giza, Gaza, Gath, Ekron, Escalon, Palestine, and Jerusalem. So this African Sphinx face appears up on the Martian land surface in the original 1976 air-reviewed satellite imagery of Sidonia. I'm referring to the Viking frame 35A72, early 1976 images of the stone face on Mars. The stone face on Mars is filtered by Laurel Smith of Chicago, Illinois, nonprofit home video and artworks creation, as an Angora gorilla emerging from the left side of the lower face area of the 41.2 degrees north stone face of Sidonia. Now this Angora gorilla uncovers the archaeological data of the globe Earth stealth pyramid Mercator projection steps. Now when we look at the steps, we look at 5 blocks stacked on top of one another on the left and right side that they form a step that you can walk upon. This is the original globe Earth stealth pyramid Mercator projection of the creation of African Adam in Genesis 2:7 in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible that's now read in every neighborhood church. So when we look at the step, we're looking at a lightning bolt. On a blank sheet of paper, you just write 5 triangles, connect them all at the base. That's in a lightning bolt. But when you turn it vertical, you see the lightning bolt. If you turn it horizontal, those 5 triangles, you see the Babylonian stealth pyramid DNA grid of African Adam. So the DNA of African Adam is rising out the base of the ground soils around the world. In the Bible, it says that African Adam was created from the soil. If we take a handful of dirt with the electron microscope and magnify it 1,000,000 times, we see peanut-shaped bacteria cells with blue, green, and red and yellow light around them, and circular shaped bacteria cells with blue, green, yellow, and white light around them. We also see bacteriophage T4. It looks like a sperm cell, and it swims in the dirt. So, before man was 9 months in his mother's womb, he was a sperm cell in his daddy's testicle. And before there were any men on Earth or testicles, we had the ground soil. This is where we come full circle back to the DNA creation of African Adam as he rises out of the ground soil. So when we connect the Babylonian style pyramids in the Dome of the Rock octagonal building structure wall area, we're looking at the 784 Babylonian style pyramid. The steps of the Babylonian style pyramid defines the square DNA grid. So on the blank sheet of paper, you write 5 sideways orientated squares. Okay, so you got a blank sheet of paper. So at the top of the paper, you write 1 sideways square. Then below that, you connect another sideways square to its tip, and then you go all the way down until you have 5 squares. So this is the human DNA grid of African Adam, connected to Iraq's ancient Babylonian stealth pyramid civilization of Ham, which is the black civilization. Because if we agree with modern archaeologists upon the subject of Africa as having being the first people to populate the surface of planet Earth, then the creation of African Adam in the Bible is talking about the black African Hamitic stealth pyramid civilization. This is how we decode all of the stealth pyramids around the world. They are connected to the DNA grid of Africa.